A lot of people are probably going to call me crazy for saying this, but hear me out. I think the average American might need around $3 million dollars by the time 2060 rolls around just to have a comfortable retirement. And I'm using the year 2060 because I'll be 61 years old then. And I'm guessing a lot of people watching my videos are probably somewhere between like 18 and 30 years old. But the reason I wanted to make this video is because I think this conversation needs to happen. For a lot of people, this could be a wake up call. Almost everyone still thinks becoming a millionaire is this massive financial milestone. And don't get me wrong, it absolutely is. But by the time 2060 gets here, there's a real chance that $1 million dollars might not even be enough to comfortably cover, let's say, 10 years of living expenses. Inflation just keeps driving up the cost of everything. That includes housing, healthcare cost, insurance, food, just everyday life in general. And retiring comfortably in the future could realistically require 2, 3, or even $4 million, depending on the lifestyle you want to live. You might even need 6 or $7 million. I had to throw in some brain rot right there. And when you actually sit down and run the numbers, which I'm going to do in this video, you start to understand why investing early into retirement accounts matters so much. The people who build real wealth over the next 30 years probably won't be the ones gambling their money away on DraftKings or Polymarket, trying to get rich overnight betting on who the fuck knows what. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through some simulated retirement numbers, and then give you some practical advice on how to balance saving for the future while still enjoying your life right now. Stay tuned, because some of these numbers are honestly going to blow your mind. And also, leave a comment down below letting me know if you're already saving for retirement and how much you've managed to invest so far. Let's get into it. Now, obviously, no one has a crystal ball, and nobody knows exactly what inflation is going to look like over the next 30 or 35 years. But let's run some realistic estimates here so you can understand how serious this actually is, and that I'm not just blowing smoke at y'all. If inflation averages around 3% per year, which is the long-term historical average of inflation, then $1 today could have the buying power of roughly 40 cents by the time 2060 gets here. That's just inflation, and I'm not even talking about taxes yet. Think about that for a second. Something that cost you $100 today could easily cost you over $240 by the time of retirement. A $500 grocery bill could turn into $1,200 grocery bill. A modest $400,000 house today could potentially cost close to $1 million decades from now. That's fucking insane if you ask me. And even basic retirement expenses, again, like healthcare, insurance, utilities, those are probably all going to be dramatically higher than most people realize. That's why I think so many people underestimate how much money they think they'll need to retire comfortably, because they hear the word, again, millionaire, and immediately think you're living in luxury wealth. But in 2060, I'm telling you, I don't think $1 million is going to feel like anything. It's really going to feel like you're just getting by. It's going to feel very middle class, depending on where you live. That is exactly why investing in your 20s is such a massive advantage, because time is what gives your money the chance to compound enough to outrun inflation in the long term. And this is where the numbers start getting really interesting. Because let's say you started maxing out your Roth IRA at 22 years old and kept doing it consistently all the way until you were 58. Right now, the Roth IRA contribution limit is $7,500 per year, and if you invested that money into something simple like the S&P 500 index fund, averaging around 10% annual return, this is what the math can start to look like. You would end up over $2 million, completely tax-free, inside of that Roth IRA account by the time you hit your late 50s. And this number is at a 10% return. This isn't accounting for the inflation. So if you wanted to account for inflation, you could run this number at a 7% return. And that number could end up being even higher because Roth IRA contribution limits are probably going to continuously increase over the next decade or so. But just think about how crazy that is for a second. If you literally just start investing consistently every single year in your 20s and gave your money enough time and enough runway to compound, now you're a multi-millionaire by the time you retire in just this account alone. That's why your 20s are so powerful financially, because the earlier you start, the more time your investments will grow for you. One thing people massively underestimate too is how expensive waiting becomes. You can't have the mindset that you'll get serious about retirement in your 30s, because those early years in your 20s matter way more than you think. Let's say someone starts investing at 22 and someone else waits until 32. That's only a 10-year difference, and 10 years doesn't sound like much, but because of compounding interest, the person who started earlier could end up with hundreds of thousands of dollars more if both those people invest the same amount. Don't be the person that waits and says, I'll start later, because it can quietly cost you a ridiculous amount of money over your lifetime. And we only looked at the Roth IRA in this example. I haven't even started talking about the 401k yet, or the employer match that comes with a 401k, or an HSA, or a regular brokerage account. Because if you're consistently investing into your 401k, especially if you're getting a company match, that is where your investment numbers can really start exploding over time. It took me a while to realize, but like if you combine your Roth IRA and 401k over a 30 or 40-year time horizon, now you can end up with several $1 million instead of maybe just $1 or $2 million by the time you retire. Then on top of that, say you invest some extra money into a brokerage account or build up your HSA for those future healthcare expenses. Now you're creating even more layers of wealth and financial security. That is my plan, at least. This is why increasing your income also matters so much too. And this is also why I'm a huge believer that your career is one of your biggest financial assets, especially in your 20s. People will spend months trying to research and pick the perfect stock while completely ignoring the thing that actually funds all of their investments in the first place, which is your income. If you can figure out a way to go from making, let's say, 60,000 a year to 100,000 a year to 120,000 a year, gradually over time, that extra money can completely change your investing trajectory. Now, don't get discouraged if you have a lower starting salary. Keep in mind, you do have to invest, but the more you make just speeds up this whole process for you. Because the higher your income gets, the more money you have to invest while you're still young. This is exactly what I'm talking about with career growth, building skills that pay well, developing side hustles, increasing your salary, because investing is very important, but also having more money available to invest just unlocks another tier to this game. Now, with all that being said, I also want to make something very clear here because I don't believe in living like a corporate bot for like 40 years straight just to financially enjoy life at retirement when your body's barely moving. I don't think that's the best move. I think there has to be a healthy balance between preparing for the future and still enjoying the present while you're young. I think awareness is key here. Your 20s and 30s are some of the healthiest and most energetic years of your life. And I don't think the goal should just be lock yourself in an apartment eating ramen noodles every night just to maximize your net worth. That's not going to do you any good. I still think you should travel, spend money on valuable experiences, occasionally go out with your friends, spend money on your favorite hobbies, enjoy the life you're building along the way. There's a balance to everything, right? There's a huge difference between intentionally enjoying your money versus mindlessly wasting it and not even considering retirement. Buying experiences with people you care about is very different from financing a brand new car that you can't afford, or carrying credit card debt, or blowing hundreds of dollars every weekend trying to impress other people. The goal isn't perfection because you're never going to find that. The goal is balance and figuring out how to balance investing with living in the present moment. If you can consistently invest for your future while still leaving room to enjoy your life today, you're going to put yourself in an unbelievably strong position mentally. For me, that looks like setting a percentage of my salary that I'm comfortable investing, and then dedicating another percentage of my salary for spending on the hobbies and experiences that I enjoy. If there's any money left over from that pool at the end of the month, then I'll just dump it back into my investments. Yeah, moral of the story here is just figure out what works best for you, but always keep your eyes on the prize and don't forget what you're working towards. You should be considering retirement investing, even in your 20s. That's going to seem like so far away, but trust me, I think everyone's going to need multiple millions of dollars to have a comfortable retirement by 2060. I want everyone watching this video to work towards gaining their financial freedom. And look, I know hearing a number like $3 million to retire sounds overwhelming at first. I get it. Most people will hear that and immediately think, well, I'm screwed, or there's no way I'm ever going to get there. But that is not the point of this video. I do not want y'all to pull the victim card out. You're never going to get anywhere with that. The point is being aware. If you understand where things might be headed with the economy, you can actually do something about it today. You can increase your income. You can invest consistently. You can take advantage of retirement accounts. Take advantage of those taxed advantage accounts. Avoid lifestyle inflation. These are all just personal finance basics, but if you play the victim card and throw in the towel and say, well, I'm just screwed, I'm never going to get there, then you actually won't get there. And most importantly, you got to give yourself time and patience. The beautiful thing about investing is that you do not need millions of dollars today. Start small and work towards increasing your income so you can invest more every month and build a plan that works for you and you can stick with it so that you keep showing up year after year. So that's all I have for this video. I'm going to keep this one short and sweet. Let me know down in the comments how much money you think people are going to need for a comfortable retirement, let's say past 2050. As always, thanks to everyone who supports this channel, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.